The passing of Gene Hackman, man, it really got me thinking about his career, and what made him such a powerful actor.
Yeah.
We're going to do a deep dive into Gene Hackman today. We've got a whole bunch of resources, a biography, interviews, some reflections from colleagues.
Excellent.
So let's just jump into it. Where do we even begin with Gene Hackman?
Well, I think one of the things that really stands out when you look at Gene Hackman's life is his early life and how it really seems to have kind of forged a certain resilience in him.
Okay.
He was born in 1930 in San Bernardino, California.
Okay.
But the family moved to Danville, Illinois, where his father worked on the printing press for the local newspaper.
Interesting.
And then at age 13, his father left.
Oh, wow.
And he's quoted as saying that, he vividly remembers that last wave goodbye as his father was leaving.
I can't even imagine.
And moments like that shape you, at an early age to have that kind of pivotal moment in your life.
Yeah, for sure. And then at 16, he lies about his age and joins the Marines.
That's right. Yeah, he was only 16.
It spends 4.5 years serving.
4.5 years. China, Hawaii, Japan.
Wow, what an experience.
Yeah.
That must have been.
Yeah.
And you think about how that discipline and being exposed to the world like that, impacted his later life. And then he ends up in New York after his service, and he's, bouncing from job to job, trying to figure out what he wants to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that willingness to keep going and that willingness to try different things, that becomes a real theme in his life.
For sure. For sure. And so he gets the acting bug a little later in life, 26, enrolls at the Pasadena Playhouse.
Yeah, the Pasadena Playhouse.
And he, along with Dustin Hoffman, is voted least likely to succeed.
I know, isn't that crazy?
That's wild.
They were classmates, and they were both told that they were least likely to succeed.
That's insane. I can't believe that.
And not only that, but Gene Hackman actually received the lowest score ever recorded at the Pasadena Playhouse.
I wonder what the instructor was thinking.
Who knows?
I mean, did they ever issue like a mea culpa, like I was wrong?
I don't know that ever happened.
Wow. So, I mean, you would think that kind of feedback would crush you.
You would think.
But his response is, we'll see about that.
I know. I love that.
That's awesome.
That just shows his tenacity.
Yeah.
And so he heads to New York City, shares these legendary cramped apartments with Dustin Hoffman and Robert Duvall.
Wow.
Waiting tables at Howard Johnson's to make ends meet.
I can't believe that.
But he actually had a really discouraging encounter with a former Pasadena Playhouse instructor in New York.
Oh, no.
Who essentially told him, give up, go back to Danville, Illinois. You're not cut out for this.
Oh, that's terrible.
But he didn't listen, did he?
No, he didn't.
No, he described acting as this narcotic. It was this irresistible pull despite all the setbacks. And, he even admitted that he felt like he had to lie and cheat to get opportunities.
Wow.
But, he was driven.
Yeah.
He had that tenacity.
So he makes his film debut in 1964 in Lilith.
Yep.
And then a few years later, meets Warren Beatty, which leads to Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, 1967, Bonnie and Clyde. And, he prepared for his death scene in that movie by studying wounded bulls.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that role earned him his first Oscar nomination.
Wow. And it's interesting, too, because he received some really crucial advice from the director Arthur Penn, who told him, don't act for the stage, act for the camera, let the camera come to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a real shift, from that kind of stage acting where you have to project to a more internal, subtle style of performance.
Yeah, for sure. And then a few years later, The French Connection.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy Popeye Doyle. This is iconic.
I know he initially quit.
I've heard this.
He was so conflicted by the character's racism.
Wow.
But he was watching the real-life cop, Eddie Egan, the guy that Popeye Doyle is based on.
Right.
And Egan was just, dipping a cruller into his coffee.
Wow.
And he said that something about that just unlocked the character for him.
That is wild.
And he went on to win his first Best Actor Oscar for that role.
And that car chase scene under the elevated train.
Oh, man.
Still talked about today.
Amazing.
Amazing. And it's amazing, too, because right after that, he does The Conversation.
The Conversation, yeah.
Where he plays Harry Call, this intensely private, almost paranoid surveillance expert. Yeah. A complete 180 from Jimmy Popeye Doyle.
Totally different. And it just goes to show you the range that this guy had.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, he had his personal life as well. His first marriage to Faye Maltese, which lasted for 30 years. They had 3 children together. And, He's spoken about how the demands of his career and, the temptations of fame and recognition, how that put a strain on their relationship, and they divorced in 1986.
Yeah,
And then later he married Betsy Arakawa in 1991, and they were together until they passed away in 2025.
that's right.
So, it's a reminder that, even these huge Hollywood icons still have to grapple with, these very real personal challenges.
Yeah.
And he goes on to just do a ton of other movies. The Poseidon Adventure,
Superman,
Superman,
Lex Luthor.
Yo Hoosiers,
Loved Hoosiers.
Mississippi Burning, which got him another Oscar nomination.
Yeah.
So he's still, really powerful on screen.
Oh, yeah.
And then in 1992, Unforgiven,
Unforgiven.
where he plays Little Bill Daggett and wins his second Oscar.
Amazing performance.
And I love how Roger Ebert described the character. He said, I'm quoting here, Hackman creates a man of terrifying complexity who is charming and monstrous, often at the same time.
That's perfect.
And he also did some work with Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
The Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah, he was great in that.
And Anderson really had to twist his arm to get him to do it.
He did.
And apparently Bill Murray said that he was kind of in awe of Gene Hackman.
Yeah, I've heard that too, yeah.
So in 2004, Hackman announces his retirement from acting
Yeah,
after the movie Welcome to Mooseport.
that's right.
And he kind of cited just the physical and emotional strain of acting. He even had a stress test done at one point, and the doctor basically told him, like, hey, man, if you don't slow down, you're going to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
So he decides to just focus on writing novels.
Yeah, he co-wrote a few historical fiction novels with Daniel Linehan.
That's right. And so he really just kind of retreats from the public eye,
Yeah.
lives this very quiet life in Santa Fe with Betsy Arakawa. But, they're still generous. They donate a lot of his paintings to charity.
Yeah, that's right. And he stayed pretty active. I mean, he was cycling a lot.
I've heard that.
People spotted him riding his bike all around Santa Fe.
That's great.
Yeah, and apparently he played the harmonica,
Oh, wow.
which I love.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
It's a good instrument.
yeah.
Sadly, both Hackman and Betsy passed away in February of this year, 2025.
Yeah, it was heart disease and Alzheimer's for him. Yeah, and Betsy died from hantavirus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, very sad.
Yeah, his daughter Leslie issued a statement saying, he was a private man, but his family and friends will remember him for his huge heart and his brilliant mind.
Yeah, that's lovely.
So, I mean, what a life.
Right alive.
This guy starts out, he's told he's the least likely to succeed at acting
Yeah,
and becomes this iconic figure
I know.
and then just steps away from it all
Exactly.
to live this quiet, creative life.
Yeah,
What a story.
it is.
So what do you think?
I mean, I just think it's so inspiring, right?
Lovely.
To think about his journey, the late start, the rejection, the sheer variety of roles he mastered.
Yeah.
What does his career tell us about perseverance, about the multifaceted nature of talent? Maybe talent doesn't always show itself in the way that we think it should.
Totally.
And maybe it takes time.
Absolutely. So for you listening out there, I mean, what's the Hackman performance that just sticks with you and why?
Let us know.
We'd love to know.